Chris Norris here in City Hall courtyard with Ari Merretazon, BMe Leader and winner of a 2013 Black Caucus Veterans Brain Trust Award. Merretazon was drafted into Vietnam at age 19 and his battle hasn't stopped since. His latest fight is against particular members of City Council as he seeks to expose the veteran service scandal in Philadelphia. Ari, what is the service scandal happening in Philadelphia?
Well, thank you, Chris. The veteran service scandal happening in Philadelphia is a very old scandal. Dates back almost 59 years, based on the 1955 law that requires the city to hire a director of Veterans Affairs, separate and apart from a resolution-based appointment, but under law. And since that time, in 2012, Point Man Soldier Heart Ministry, where I serve as the first vice president under the leadership of James Abrams, the president, we declared a state of emergency on September the 11th, 2012, at a City Hall hearing called by Councilman Curtis Jones, Janie Blackwell, and David O. And we proclaimed a state of emergency because the city had no infrastructure, no municipal infrastructure to serve veterans. And so that's the veteran scandal right there. There's a law requiring them to have that municipal infrastructure, and they have yet to put it in place.
What are some of the battles, what are some of the things you've already done to not only raise awareness in the community, but to take the fight directly to City Council?
Well, we took the fight directly to City Council on September 11, 2012 with our testimony. It's a matter of record, although it's hard for us to find the actual video, although they say it was videotaped, but we're going to find that video and put it out to the public. Secondly, we held a state of the State of Veterans Affairs Forum on December the 30th, September the 28th, 2013, and at Tryon Baptist Church, where we declared and showed and presented all the facts and circumstances that show that there is a state of emergency and that there's a cover-up going on right now, particularly by the City Council President Darrell Clark, in that he constantly put political patronage above veterans' rights.
What's political patronage?
Political patronage is where the elected official thinks or have the largesse to hire, appoint anybody he wants to appoint, whether they have the qualifications or not. You know, as Clark said, I'm going to do it my way. And that's what political patronage is. He could care less about the law. And the law was presented to him face to face in a meeting in his office. And he said he's going to do it his way, and he has.
Mm-hmm. And so what are the leverage that you're bringing outside of the city, if any? You have national recognition. Well, what are some of your national partners?
Well, I was on Capitol Hill yesterday for other matters. Not yesterday, but Thursday for other matters. But I did have opportunity to make a link with one of our supporters there. And so what we're trying to do now is pretty much like I'm doing right now. Give public exposure, have the public disclosure in respect to the veteran service scandal. And it just to understand it more clearly, the VA has a scandal, but there's no representation between the veteran to the VA. So the veteran get lost in those type of scandals there. I have a document that shows how the veteran service officers at the VA, they get points for how many intakes they can churn. But once they churn those intakes, they leave them alone because they don't get no points for further workup and updating those claims. So the claims stay in abeyance without being heard for almost close to a year. And that's some of the stuff that's happening in Arizona, except for dealt with the medical issues. They were just actually hiding or creating intakes where there was none.
You've mentioned several times, both to Techbook Online and in the public, that there's no gravesite registry. What is that?
Well, it hits me right in the heart, man. It hits me in the heart because I have had a young Philadelphia brother at 19. He was over in the war with me. We was in the same recon squad, 7 men out there alone, looking for the enemy. His name was Bobby Williams. I've been looking for him for quite a long while. I just found out from a veteran lieutenant I ran into, said he knew Bobby Williams and that he died from an overdose. So my next step was to try and find his grave so I can give my homage and salute to the brother. And so I go to the city council. I realized that they should have had this this veterans grave registration record already in existence, and they don't have one. They tell me it costs too much money to do that. I said, well, come on, it costs lives of our veterans, it costs sacrifices of our veterans to go to war. And that's much more valuable than money.
Ari, what's the call to action? What are you asking Philadelphians to do in support of the veterans community?
I'm asking the residents of Philadelphia to contact their local council people, representative, and ask them, why isn't there a grave registration record of our veterans in the city where people can find their grave sites? Ask them, why appoint someone as the director of Veterans Advisory Commission and not make a direct appointment for director for Veterans Affairs? And what Clark has done, he has merged those two responsibilities. The director of the Philadelphia Advisory Commission answers to Clark, right? It's a resolution-based appointment. The director of Veterans Affairs relates to the law, and that person's sole responsibility is between the VA, the veteran, and their families, as an advocate to make sure veterans and their families get the rights that they earn.
The fight will no doubt continue, and Techbook Online will continue to follow the story and bring you exclusive news. Until next time, I'm Flood the Drummer, and I'm drumming for justice.